7:02, I think we should call the meeting to order. This isn't going to work. We have, I guess, public comments is the first thing. So should we have this gentleman?
Yeah, we can
Okay,
do that. Yeah,
sure.
let's do that.
Can you introduce yourself and tell us your dilemma, please?
Well, life is a dilemma. My name is Ronald Picari. I live in Sterling, Mass. Many years ago, I think it was actually 1987, I bought a 6-acre parcel on New Templeton Road. I ultimately sold a back piece of it. If this is New Templeton down here, I sold an acre up here to the guy who lives up off of a cross street. So it's now 5.5 acres. But luckily it has the dimensions that allow for 250-foot frontage for a duplex that I want to build for myself, and then an additional lot with exactly 200 feet of frontage, and there's plenty enough acreage to make it work for the 80,000 square feet and 110,000 square feet. My question really is a couple of things. What kind of a process or procedure should I follow here to be able to fill all the boxes? And one is a very general question, but needs a specific answer. In this area, which is down here, New Templeton, Cross Street, just wondering how close am I? Am I in a situation where I have to be 50 feet from the septic's back set or 100 feet to the wetlands?
The septic setback from the wetlands is the question.
Yeah, that's primarily one, but otherwise I want to know what the step-by-step procedure I have to go through to satisfy you guys' requirements.
Okay, usually what happens is you would come up with a plan where the house is going to go.
But I do have that in a crude way here.
Okay.
And where the septic system is going to go.
And where the septic and well goes. So the well and the septic have to be so far apart.
Right.
And you have to,
You're 100 feet away from the neighbor's well.
yeah, and all that sort of thing. So that has to be
It turns
jockeyed
out that
around.
well is probably 300 feet away because we did check that.
Okay, so that part's good. The septic, it just depends on what kind of constraints you have. I mean, we put septics in very tight to the wetlands. If it's,
Are there wetlands on that land?
Yes,
No.
I would think
Can
they're
I-
very, it was, go ahead.
They're right. If I remember this, they're right here.
Yeah, but it's, if you go to the other side, which I really want to get information on both, it kind of meanders around in through here, it's seasonal. It's dry as a bone, July 1st, it's dry as a bone. I mean, see, the problem I have is I want to put a house here, but I want to know where I can put the septic to be able to, like, if it has to be a 100-foot offset, I got to do a different plan than, if it's a 50-foot. So I don't know, is it the Cohen bill that requires it to be 100?
So typically what happens, I'll just give you a generic, what usually happens before we get involved. Like Rick mentioned, there's an engineer will come up with a plan where the septic fits, where the well fits, where the house fits, and then they work their magic as far as making everything work together, and then that plan you'd bring to us, and then we'd go from there.
But still, again, the dilemma about where I put that septic is related to the wetlands.
Right, so the engineer should know that, and the engineer
Yeah.
will know.
We
all-
walked it yesterday. Chris Knuth, I don't know if you know him from
Yep.
Princeton.
Yep.
He's probably done all the systems I've ever had. Not all of them, but certainly quite a few of them.
So he would be able to guide you on.
Well, he didn't. He told me to come here and talk to you guys. Just find out if it's 50 or 100 feet, because that's the key number.
So,
yeah.
You do have to have a plan drawn up. We would look at it,
Yeah.
go out and see. We sometimes give a little on the 100 feet buffer, but you do have to have a plan.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, if there's no other way around it, we would
Because
Could bend.
if we say yes and something goes wrong, then we're kind of responsible. So you have to have an engineer that.
Well, I mean, I went with Chris just yesterday, and he thought it'd be best if I talked to you guys.
Yeah, well, you have, and
Yeah.
the advice is for an engineer to draw you up a
Does it have to be
plan.
any more specific than this?
Well, I don't know how specific that is from here.
Yeah,
Usually what the
I was looking
engineer
at
would come up with they'd take your certified plot plan with the wetlands annotated
I'll share
exactly
it with
where it
you.
is, and then draw in where the septic would go, where the well would go. That 100-foot mark is the Hubbardston Wetland Protection
That's not really showing
bylaw,
where the
so
wetlands are.
Hubbardston says 100 feet. The state works really well with homeowners to put in septic
somebody
pretty
sent
close
me drew
in,
this up.
or in the buffer zone. And it would just be paperwork that you'd have to fill out.
Yeah, well, how does the state get involved? I mean, do you?
Because, so Hubbardston has the wetlands protection bylaw,
Yeah.
which these guys oversee. And then the state on top of that has a wetlands protection bylaw.
Who drew this up?
Well, you see the part that's crossed out by the Rex, the right line?
Yep.
That was necessary because I sold,
You sold it, yeah.
that. And that was drawn up by Cabco, I don't know if you know him
Okay,
from
sure.
Lancaster. It's recorded,
Yeah.
and even further, I had to move the AT&T right of way that went diagonally across there, and they were very cooperative about it, and that's been recorded. We put it on the northerly side of the property, right along the,
really?
in the 30. Yeah.
Is there
They-
something, is this not something on the ground there?
Nothing. And you know what they said? If you can dig a hole and you find something, find a wire, take it out of your way and throw it away, because it means nothing to them. With all the satellites and all the technology we've got today, they don't need a. But I've got it all recorded anyway.
That's good. That's funny.
They were, no, I dealt with them for 2 years to get it squared away because they were in Atlanta. There's a guy out here someplace in western Massachusetts that oversees this area. And we worked it all out. They were happy with it. They basically don't give a damn about it because there's nothing that's ever going to happen in there, and there's nothing that's happened in there.
A little confusing here.
Yeah, so,
What's shown
I
there
thi-
is what was there when I had that plan drawn up to remove that 1 acre.
yeah,
The diagonal part that comes from like you straight over to me.
But I mean, who said that that's where the wetland is?
I measured that 200 feet into the wetland that was there
And you measured it how long ago?
last fall, last summer, sometime.
Okay, I mean, if it was 5 or 6 years ago,
No.
the wetlands have changed considerably.
Yeah, that one
around here.
hasn't. And that's just a spring, really fed by a spring.
A seasonal-
It's a seasonal. There's no headwater that comes out of it all, and it goes under Mary Ann DePinto's property, under her driveway and on.
Oh, okay.
yeah. So typically what we get is we'd get a septic design,
A
obviously.
full design or just a location of the system?
Full design, because it's got to go through
Board of Health.
Board of Health.
Board of Health.
the
Yeah,
Board of Health has to approve it.
they gotta see what you're planning to do.
Then you'd come to us, and usually what we like to do is you'll have the wetlands flagged, and then we'll just
Yeah.
verify that. We usually have someone go out.
You'll have your house staked out. When we go on the property, we'll know where everything is, and it'll be staked out. We won't have to measure it out and
No,
stake
I've
it
already
out.
got it roughly staked now,
Yeah,
and I
well.
can just you just want the 4 corners, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Basically.
Yeah, the septic location.
Show us where the well is, put a stake,
Yep.
well, septic system, have that staked out.
In this case,
Have a number?
Phone number?
No, it's the new template. Do you have a land,
Oh,
did Duffy give you a?
No, I haven't. You never sent me the list.
So that wetlands is on our wetland map too.
No, that's Nancy. Nancy needs to send you that. I can't do the house numbers yet.
I meant
And Mary Ann
you were gonna send me the
DePinto
list of the items.
He's gonna make sure.
Oh, yeah, how
That's
to go
good.
about it.
Oh, yeah.
Can I see that for a second? I'm trying to find you. I can pull up the wetlands map from.
It's approximately 95. Mary Ann DePinto's is
95?
90. See, there's two frontages here, so I guess you guys never assigned a frontage number.
So there's not a lot of room. I mean, you got some room right here, right? There's no room around the house for a septic and a well. I mean, it's gonna be tight, right?
No, there's, yeah, when I set it up with the AT&T, it's 300 feet into this point here from the road. So, and this is a 102 foot long house, and that's to scale.
I see.
So there is a lot of room in
So
there.
this is what you're saying the lot line is going to be?
No, that's
that's
just,
not-
the engineers did
Is-
that to show, that
Okay.
really, that'll be removed on a new,
Found you.
Where is that line? Am I?
to divide it in half?
Yeah.
Right.
Just right down the
Are
middle.
those your children?
Right down
I see.
here.
Yes.
Excellent.
So you have some land here.
I'm impressed.
This is all.
This is 700 feet or something like
I
that
see.
up to this point. Yeah, up to here, it's 700 feet.
Stop flipping. Technology's great till it doesn't want to work.
Well, the only way I see it is a recent plan
Yeah.
drawn up.
Yeah, no, but I have to start someplace.
Yeah,
Yep.
and
Chris told me just yesterday, go see the Concom and see if they buy 50
See
or
if they'll
100.
allow it in less than 100 feet. That's what
So-
it's basically
That's really
asking.
the
We got
Yeah.
vegetated,
Yes or no?
and then that
yeah,
brook
well, how he
running
draws
straight
it up
through the
and,
property.
I'll
and
be
then we
honest
would
with
take a
you,
look
with my
at it.
house, there's almost no problem. There's a ton of room. What do I have to stay away from the sideline? With a field, there's only 10 feet, right, from the field. But there's almost 90 feet here, and there's, by your frontage requirement, there's 75 here. Well, if we can't do it in 90 feet
Right.
by 75
That's a
feet, so-
giant.
That's
That's
a
a lot
problem.
of space. Yeah.
And this is a high point in here, very, compared to the rest of it.
Yeah. I mean, that's a lot of space. Yeah.
I mean, we've been in the buffer zone before. It's not that, that we're not going to, but we have to see
Yeah.
what
No.
the engineer, how close he's gonna come, and how much we
So
feel
he's
safe
got
in
the
giving.
brook that runs right through the property. So that's why
that's shown
this,
as a brook right there.
yeah, that's why it's all wet. You said over here that dries up
It
eventually.
meanders. This is pretty square. It almost comes down the hill like this. There's a wet area in here, and then it kind of meanders until he actually goes up one little spot up in here, which must be breakout from the groundwater at a low point. But it's only like about a 6 foot by 8 foot area, and that is connected to the main stream here, which eventually goes on to Mary Ann's driveway.
I think.
So if Chris wants more assistance or guidance, probably the best thing to do is first have him flag the wetlands.
Yeah, I called
Like, go
Mary
out.
Ann this morning to make an appointment with her, but she didn't answer. She
Yeah.
called me back, yeah.
And then if we agree with that, then that gives Chris
Right.
definite lines to
More
work
definite
from.
what to
Yeah.
work with.
It looks like it's doable anyway.
Who were you gonna have flag the wetlands?
Mary Ann DePimpel.
Oh, okay.
She lives right next door to me. She's not
I
even-
I know exactly where she lives.
She would be keenly interested
Yes.
in the outcome because it's her neighbor.
She'll,
Well, I'll be honest with you, the lot that I'm not building my house on is the one that probably is gonna have a tighter situation with the septic, because that through there kind of meanders. It might not be big, but it meanders, and it,
You probably might have to go in the back or something
yeah.
to get back there.
Then we'd have to have some type of a culvert to go across the wetland. or
Yeah.
Something like that, but I'm
If
gonna
there's
try.
not enough room to put all that in the front, yeah.
Again, this is 200 feet, and this is 200 feet to here. It's almost an acre of land right there, But like I said, it meanders, and you got to be able to do it right.
Well, you're exempted for a house lot's exempted. It's exempted for every lot to get through and put a house in there. So it's just a matter of how much money it'll involve to get back into here,
Yeah.
and so on. What you have to do, if you have to do wetlands replication or something,
Yeah, that's possible.
or whatever. It's usually not the case, but it does happen occasionally.
I think there's enough there to do it, but it's like I said, the 50 feet would make it happen a lot easier than having to stick to the 100 feet. I mean, it doesn't matter where you put the well.
Well, like right here, this looks like you can do something without getting too close.
Right. Yeah, no, for sure.
Yeah.
But again, I have to be able to have a conscience enough to be able to plan on that, either building a house there myself for sale, or if I sell a lot, I have to be able to tell.
Right, right. Well, that's this one here. If the wetlands go down like this, is going to be probably a different issue because you have more backland that might be better.
Yeah, this right here, Rick, right about this point,
Okay.
it's up like that, it's pretty steep, you know. I mean, not that you can't build on it, but it's definitely no wetlands,
Yeah.
you know.
So you might have to look in that direction to get
Yeah,
under
whatever,
dry land.
whatever
Yeah.
has to happen,
Yeah.
you know. But I mean, we'll attempt it with, you know, seeing what he can do. I mean, my task that I asked Chris to do is give me perk and deep holes on both of them. So, I mean, I didn't say just do mine over here and I'll worry about that later. You know, I really want, you know, he's there. You might as well have it when the backhoe's there. You might as well do the digging.
Yeah.
And what is it today? Is it 2 deep holes per lot or 4? Does anybody know?
I think it's just 2, isn't it? One
No, so
reserve
it's-
system.
Yeah, one for the house, 2 perks, 2 deep holes, 1 perk for the house, and then the same thing for the reserve.
For the reserve, okay. So there is 4 per lot and 2 perks. Okay, and so there'd be 4 here as well. Okay, well, you've been somewhat helpful anyway. Thank you.
No, we've been real helpful. Get an engineer to draw it up.
Well, but I have talked to an engineer, but you know, they say you have to have a starting point, you know, and if,
Well, you have it.
thank you.
Okay.
I'll give you a call this week
Okay.
when I'm back in the office.
All right, Ron. Take care.
Yep, thank you for your time.
We'll be in touch. All right, minutes approval. Minutes.
Sorry they're long. It was a public hearing, so everybody had something to say. You can go out that door. It's unlocked, yeah. They're double-sided.
Step in what paint?
Nope, you're good.
Okay.
Sorry. Oop. You have a note, sir?
I'm not, yeah, I gotta read this a little. I didn't read it ahead of time, sorry.
It's okay. To be fair, there's a 3-hour meeting. had to go back through and watch it over again to do the minutes and for public comments and stuff, and people forgot to say who they were and their name, and I'm like, oh, I don't remember what your name was.
Right, you did pretty good.
Thank you.
The Sean Marcoux was the Sean M, but
Yeah, it was. I couldn't. He didn't sign in, which
Yeah.
was.
came in late, yeah.
Yeah, he came in late. So, and when you do the recording over again, his name is very muffled. So I got Sean M, and that was it. So Sean Marcoux, I will fix that. Does anybody know how to spell his last name? Marcoux? I can look it up in the.
Marcoux.
I'm so good. I guessed and I got it.
I could ask a question, like, you were talking about Clem Tyler.
Yes.
I don't understand this part. Member Larson reiterates to the resident, know that this is all would have happened if the applicant had done the proper procedure. Did
when
he not do the proper procedure?
So
Or,
this is when Clem was getting irritated, that we were just letting Josh do whatever he wanted with no repercussions. And Mr. Larson answered his question saying, again, which I think was your third time saying it that night, that
So the proper,
Josh would be here doing this if he had come before us before he got his building permit. We were just doing everything retroactively because the system failed us.
right, the system, so the breakdown was not
Okay.
on our part, it was on the building
right,
inspector.
it says applicant had done the proper procedure, but really, he had
He,
thought he,
yeah, so he should not have gotten a building permit without the sign off from conservation.
Right.
So he got the sign off from the building inspector, who is the authority.
right. I
So-
understand that part. It just says that if the applicant had done the proper procedure, but
It really
It's-
wasn't on
wasn't
the
the applicant.
applicant.
No.
It was if the proper
The
procedure
ball-
was followed.
Oh,
right.
change that to.
Yeah, because he's liable to take umbrage. He's liable to disagree with that because he did do the proper procedure. He
Right.
thought,
Right,
and he
correct.
got a building permit, and he went about his business. So
The breakdown was on
I'll
the
just,
town.
instead of proper procedure, I'll just say if
If
the
the-
town permitting system had caught it
That's
the
correct.
first time around.
right,
Yeah.
and it
Yeah.
says the same one on Sean's. the
Yeah,
applicant
because I
did.
copy and pasted,
Okay,
so I'll change both.
that's all. I don't want to.
Yep,
That's fine. So I'll fix these. Sorry, guys.
That's all
That
right.
house is like a rooming house, though. It's all
He's
like
got-
bedrooms in the back, where he must be
He has foster children.
adopted kids.
Yeah,
or
he has
whatever.
foster kids. So I.
Because one other piece of property we looked at up there, he was complaining that that was a three-family house, not a one-family house. But it's a big piece of property.
Right, yeah.
That's irrelevant.
Right. That's when we went
Dad's up to Duffy again. Dad's
when
up
we
to
went
Duffy.
to talk to Mr.
I don't remember.
Tyler, or not Tyler, Mr. Up in 8 Mayo Road. That was one of the things he mentioned because he
Thanked
was
us for nothing.
he was telling us Steve Sullivan. He was telling us, basically venting about all the
Goings
problems.
on there.
Yeah, problems. And
That house
how could this
created,
have happened? And
the water's going uphill now instead of downhill.
why did you let this happen, Tony?
God, I
It's
don't
like,
know.
I don't know. How can we answer that question? It's one of those things when they say, they did, what are you guys doing? They did this and they did that. Who is they? And it's
His
just-
water problem he could have solved so easy, but he wanted the town to pay for it.
Right. That was a different.
All global warming. One of the
Anything else on the minutes?
Okay.
I'll
Sorry.
step in and
Sorry.
Yeah, presented with no changes other.
Public hearing, Philip Martin. Okay, that one.
That one went swimmingly.
Are we changing anything in the minutes?
Yeah, I'm just fixing these.
All right, so I make a
Amended.
motion, we accept the minutes with the change.
Okay.
Second.
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 All in favor? All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Thank you. Thanks for pushing that along.
I don't know how long they'll behave for, so.
Yeah.
Well, excellent.
All right, so just a quick on what Ron was talking about. I think my thoughts are, obviously, we want to see everything 100 feet. If they can't make the 100 feet, we'll work with them on less than that.
That's usually what we've done in the
Right,
past, since
yeah.
I've been on the board.
I
Obviously-
don't know, I was trying to figure out where he was going with that.
The other thing is, like Philip Martin at the end of your road, our road, I mean,
Williamsville?
right, the house that we had, they had put a septic system in the back. Obviously, because the septic system had failed, there's very limited opportunities for him to do anything else.
Right.
So in that case, you know, we had to go with it. But in the case of a new construction, he could, you know, move it around or change the house size or, you know,
Right.
there's a lot of things that could be done. We don't necessarily want him to jump through hoops, but he could certainly be cognizant of that.
Yeah, you just gotta know that he has to come in with a plan.
Right,
It was pretty simple.
Yeah, so in my mind,
So,
I think an option that could happen is he could come in and say, all right, I kept both of these right up to 50 feet so that I made bigger yards. And I don't think that's our intent. Our intent is, if you can do it with 100 feet, that's what we want
That's
to
what
see.
we want you to do.
That's what we want.
Exactly.
All right.
right, if you gotta push the septic system over,
Just so we understand each
yeah.
other.
Yes, if the area is there to work with, then we want them to work with. If it's not there, then we'll
That's a
give-
different story, right?
Yeah.
Yep, okay.
so then the next question is, at some point, like, for instance, the other lot where he might have to put the septic system in the back someplace and pump it uphill, you know, I guess it's still reasonable to expect to do that.
And so much of that is being done now, so.
Yeah. All right, so that's fine. That's good.
Okay, just so,
New business, we have some site inspections. 25 Lombard Road. That's a new one, I'm assuming.
Yes.
Okay.
That one is Miss Tavano, and she is doing driveway access to a new home. And when she bought the property, she had noticed that they had done the perk test in the wetlands. So she is having all new perk done on the property because obviously that was not done correctly the first time. So she wanted to reassure all of you that they are going to be following the proper procedure. But the driveway, unfortunately, just the way Lombard Road is just a swamp. It's a swamp. It floods every time it rains an inch. So, unfortunately, there is nowhere else to put the driveway, but
Well, the highway does the driveways, correct? We don't.
Yeah, Travis does that.
she's going to, well, so the way she says it's going to be staked out is that it's gonna go up through the rock wall, which is a whole other issue. And the driveway is going through most of the wetlands is all in the front part of the property, so a driveway has to be put into, and it's gonna go all the way up to a house up on the.
Right, it's up a
It's a
hill.
really steep grade up
Yeah.
there.
Yeah.
So she wanted to make sure that she came to you guys because she knows the driveways and all that other stuff. Doesn't sound like it's gonna be paved. Sounds like it's gonna just be packed gravel.
so I think what she's gonna have to do, if it's definitely going through wetlands, she's gonna have to have an engineer design it. Perfect.
So it's Gaz Engineering, and
That's
they
next
gave
door
me.
to the new house up there, is that what it is? The house
I
on top of
haven't
the
taken
hill?
a ride down because we've got.
I think that's.
What number Lombard is it?
It's number
25.
25. She
Yeah.
just got a house
Yeah, it is.
number.
Yeah.
Because there's the corner,
Let-
and that's at the corner.
Yeah, I think where I was going with it, there's no problem with her doing it, there's just paperwork that has to go along with it. She might,
That's-
if they're filling in wetlands, they're gonna have to do a replication area.
I think
that type of
she
thing.
just wanted you guys to walk with the
Have to
engineer
put in
and make sure
culverts.
everything is above grade. So,
Okay, because we can't deny access if she's got, obviously, a house or an area where she could have a house.
right. So she wanted to have you guys do your site inspection with the engineer because she said that she didn't understand any of it. So that's fine.
Yep.
Most of the real wet stuff's on the other side of the road anyways.
Yeah, it all
'Cause
runs
that's all
off to the
hill up
other.
there.
Yeah, it all runs
Yeah,
off
she's
to
all
across
up on
the
the hill up
street.
there.
Yeah, on the left, half a mile down on the left.
Yeah, right after the other road, the private road
Uh-huh.
that goes up, it's just after that. They built a new house up
Is it?
on top of the hill up there. Well, there's another lot that's marked right there. That's
Is
gotta
it?
be where it is. I think they got some flags out there already or something like that.
I say.
So who wants it?
What?
Did you guys already do it, or do you still need to call and walk it?
No, we didn't do it.
Okay, well, that's yours.
Is that in by the house that used to be Johnson used to own it? It was a yellow house, and then Ed Blanchard bought it at auction, maybe 6 years ago, 7 years ago.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
Is it on the left-hand side?
Yeah, so it's like the first house, you got one house on the left,
Mike Stahl.
Mike Stalls.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then you go up over the causeway, and then past the private road on the right,
Mm-hmm.
and then it's just up there on the left.
All right, so that sounds like it's up in there. That's
Yeah,
that's wet up in there.
There's no house there right now.
No, there's two parcels that sold.
Yeah.
One is Christopher Cordio, who's done some work because he has a house on the other road. So he bought this back lot so that he
Yeah.
has access from both sides. And then she bought the second lot. So there's two big open areas where there's no houses currently.
You don't know who the lots were bought from.
I do not.
Tony, how would you like to slide that tree?
The little,
I know I'm taking a few home with me.
that's fine.
I think I heard that Danny from Brookside owned that property and sold it. I think that's who it was, but I'm not sure.
But of course, Ed might.
Yeah.
I know Ed bought a piece in there, and there were like 6 or 8 acres in there. And the person before him who owned the property had cut all the trees down in the wetland. If I'm talking the same piece of property, you came down and looked at it. It's when you first came on, and by that time the guy had leveled the whole thing. But I'm not sure that we're talking the same piece of property.
Right, I was
If Ed
thinking.
bought it,
But it
wet.
sounds like in the right area.
I
Well,
was thinking that was on Bemis Road.
oh, okay, you're right.
It was
That
on.
was Bemis.
That was on Bemis Road. The guy dropped all the pine
Yep,
trees in
yep,
the
yep,
swamp.
Exactly.
And
Okay.
this one on Lombard was owned by Rod McHugh. I mean, McHugh.
Okay. So I had
He
the
was trying to put a
wrong,
solar farm in there,
I had
Yeah,
the right
yeah.
place on the wrong road over there. All right.
Yeah.
where the
Somebody want to put the
Pinecrest
solar
had
field-
developed.
Yeah.
The roads
Yeah.
over continued across
It's that
Lombard.
lot that they wanted to put the solar field in, and then they backed
Yeah.
out of it.
Well, because there was just too much wetland up
Right.
there. They
Yeah.
In there. But
they
it's all-
couldn't get enough dry land.
On that property, you mean
But it's,
McHugh?
yeah,
Yeah.
Because of the
He's on,
reservoir, you
he's
would
on
have
the
keep
west side of
400
the
feet, remember?
Lombard,
yeah.
up on the hill. Yeah.
I know the piece now.
All right.
All right. So you guys want to set something up and go take a peek?
Do you? Is this something you want to look at?
I just don't know when I can look at it. 'Cause
Oh, yeah.
I have no idea what my hours are anymore.
That's true. It's not so,
Because, I
so
mean, we're
convenient.
working Saturdays
You just
now.
started working yesterday, so you
Yeah.
don't know for sure.
Right, I mean,
Well, do you want
I mean,
to
I
go
could
look
go-
at it with me?
I'll go look at it, but you know if it's a big walk,
Right.
I can't do it.
Right.
I mean,
You can
but I'll
just-
certainly keep you
You
company.
You could just advise.
Yeah, I'll advise. I'll be an advisor.
Oh, it looks good to me from here.
Well, I've already walked that property when the solar people
Yeah.
wanted to go in, so I
Right, right.
kind of know it. But
Yeah. It's,
Okay.
it's pretty high and hilly.
so
and,
I can tell you exactly where to go.
I dove up this road. Right. Okay, we'll set something up.
All right.
All right.
Next one is Zero Garden Road. That's
Which you did.
yeah.
That was the Demalia the communications tower. And it
I-
was
I sent
high,
you a note.
dry.
Yeah, I
and,
sent you a note.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay. So that one's
We went and now something we're talking about the cell tower site. The guy came. Not that it pains me greatly, but the guy came all the way from South Shore or something to go visit with us for a few minutes up on the top of the gravel bank. It's almost like we could look at the site ahead of time, like the plans came in to somebody, we could have probably looked at them and said, this is fine, what they're doing.
So
without
what
going
happened
out there.
was when the plans came in, it triggered conservation, and I took a look at it, and I was like, oh, there's wetlands.
Because you had to cross them.
You got the
Right,
wetlands, you got
right.
it.
I was like, oh, there's wetlands. I was like, well, hold on a second, let me call conservation
Yeah.
commission.
Right, you don't want to get slammed again.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know.
No,
I already had a
every
problem
time.
with
So
her.
every building permit that I've had since then has hit conservation.
Right. Okay,
So we
that makes
fixed the trigger. So I go in, I look at
Right.
the site plans, I look at what's being done, and I'll make a note saying no conservation review needed, and I'll take it off hold. But some of them, like the cell tower, there's obviously wetlands on the property, and I was like, you know what? I can't. From
Yeah,
where I'm
that's
looking
fine.
at, I was just like, they had not put where the tower was actually going, and I was like, well, what am I supposed to do with this?
Right, okay, that's fine. That's perfectly fine.
Well, you don't know either. If they
I just
wanna
brought
put
it
an
up.
access road right through
Right
it.
through it, right? Like, what are they asking for? And then I got on the phone, and they couldn't answer me, and I was like, all right, well, I'm sending the conservation commission.
Okay,
out.
well, that's fine. We looked at it, and the guy went about his business, and that's fine. All right, 49 Morgan Road.
Mr.
That must be
William
Mike Como.
He might
No.
have enjoyed the ride.
Right, he had a day off.
Oh, he was probably billing too, so he was billing to drive. This is Mr. William Shea on Morgan Road.
Yeah.
He's the one that owns like the DeLorean and all of that, right? He is the location out back in field behind large barn. It's the Morgan Farm. That's very helpful. It's a new storage garage. However, that whole back end of the property from this very drawing that I cannot understand is wetlands.
Okay, so,
He's putting in a new storage garage. I'm guessing for more toys.
yeah, what is going on? Okay, this is Morgan Road coming down here, and the High Bridge is,
Yeah, I want to see what he's got in that garage.
Paid $35 for you guys to come
It
see what's
looks like it's
Yeah.
kind of,
something's amiss here. There's a
looks like that's copied twice.
two maps. Yeah, you're right. That's it. So, anyway, I don't know what's going on here. This is a new building. This is the barn. I don't know. That's a house. Yeah. Anyway.
That's just 10
So
pages.
does anything show up on the map as
Yeah.
far as wetlands?
I'm trying, but my computer has decided that it is
So-
Wednesday evening. That's what I get for watching so much Netflix on it this past few weeks.
So even if you don't find it right now, if you find that, see where the wetlands are shown. And then if it's close to that, it's probably best someone take a walk
Oh,
out
yeah.
and see exactly
And
where
when
he
he
wants to
says
put
a
it.
new storage garage, he didn't tell me what the dimensions of the new storage garage is. This one, Duffy handed to me. When he put in his stuff, he was like, you need to call her. And sure enough, I got a phone call.
Yeah, because, I mean, right over here is the pond, and there's a hayfield here. It's all flat. So I don't know how to define this as, or if there's anything. I mean, it's coming
Because
down off
this
the
is
hill.
Burton's, right? Is that the camp?
No, that's this is.
Because there is a stream that comes down from the camp.
Wait, that's not the camp.
Right
It
next,
is this
right
entrance
next
is
to the
road.
driveway, the entrance of the camp.
This is the. I don't know what this is. I thought this was the old Morgan farm, but it's. It isn't. I don't know where this house is. Because it seems to be in the woods. Because the Morgan Road was going off this way, and it would come around here, and then Underwood's over here.
Oh, okay, so it's the other way.
You know,
So that's the next driveway up after Kelly.
apparently it was
Since you
this
can't
Como.
really see the house back there.
But it's interesting, there's a road, it looks like there's a road superimposed right through the field in the old days.
Yeah,
said
so
there's
the
a
camp, the
carriage
camp's over
road.
here then.
Yeah.
Yeah, the camp's over there, you're right,
Yeah.
right. It continues around, the camp's over here, the
Right.
pond's here.
Well, it sounds like we're gonna need more details.
I will look into this one for you
Yeah,
guys.
if you can come
So-
up with something that shows kind of where the wetlands are.
We're almost cooking with the gas. Hold on. We're getting there.
This isn't up to date, but he put another building in 7 or 8 years ago.
Yeah, they're
It's it's a driveway here, a nice looking little building. And that sits up against the wetlands, or sits right on, it's wet back there. I don't know, he got the building, it was approved, he put it in. I mean, it might not be what showed as wetlands there, it's just flat, basically.
That guy on 68 on the left-hand side heading towards Gardner that I had said no to, he's living in a mud swamp down there now. I mean, the vehicles can't even go in the back of the house. There's all kinds of tire tracks, and it's all, he really can't exist in his backyard, but he got a wetland scientist to say it was okay. But we all knew better.
okay. We
So-
said this is. I'm sorry. This is 49. 49. Morgan.
So Bill formally requested a site visit?
Yes, he did.
Okay.
Maybe he just wants to catch up with you guys. Okay, I have it right here. So, oh, well. Oh. Okay. It's much bigger than I thought it was. Sorry. That's a lot of acreage. So this is the buildings now that the state has
Okay,
said.
so here's Underwood here's
Yeah, that's
High
where
Bridge
High
coming
Bridge,
in.
yep.
Here's Morgan coming in, and it turns into
High
High
Bridge.
Bridge right here.
Yep.
There's the old barn. He wants to put something back here. Like right here, I believe. This is a new building he just put in 7 years ago. I don't know, you can't see this time, but this is the complex. There's where Kelly lives. There's the old
Big
barn.
Yeah.
And this is where Bill Shea's complex is. This is a new building here that was put in that basically is very close to the wetlands.
Yeah, I'm thinking I think he's wanting to put it back here in the back corner. Further
No,
away
he
from
actually
the
wants to put it behind the old barn right here.
right here.
Yeah. Which is
Okay.
not exactly shown as wetlands there, but
But this
s-
map was last updated.
Who knows?
Who knows? And we've had so much rain that those wetlands are probably twice the size they were 5 years ago.
yeah, so
Are you in a butter?
no, I'm not a butter. I happen to be working across the street for a little while, so I know what he was talking about.
Well, you can't do the site inspection if you're in a butter, apparently.
My farm doesn't go that far over there.
Not yet.
Not yet.
It's getting really hard to do anything these days. Things are too crazy. You can't buy anything. It's silly, I tell you.
Good time to sell.
Yeah, it's a good time to sell. Yeah.
Let me know.
All right, so that's another thing we can do.
Yeah,
We can have a look at Bill, talk to Bill.
I'd like to look around the property.
Bill's an affable guy.
Yeah, he's
He'll give
really
you a
nice
tour.
guy.
If Bill wants to build a garage, by golly, we should let him build a garage unless he has to fill in Boston Harbor.
The other location
did that for Roman.
was...
I don't. Can't do that.
No.
Anyway, I shouldn't. That's off the record, but it's on the record. Obviously, you can't build in the wetlands. It doesn't. It looks like, right now it's open. It's a field.
Yeah.
that's been developed in the past 100 years.
Well, we'll see what it looks like.
Okay. Next one is tree cutting plans for Amber Lane and Halfrey Road.
Yep, those are going to be on the back side of the green.
And those are Chris Perner, Ross Huback, both of these.
Yep, he's doing both properties.
So these are,
Just common courtesy that we get them.
Common courtesy that you guys get them. He attached maps. And actually, if you guys do have comments, you are allowed to make them and make them appear before the board. DCR sent me this cute little pamphlet on how to respond to tree.
cutting plans.
Yeah, tree cutting plans
I see.
and conservation cutting plans. If
I
they're
see.
in the wetlands and stuff. I didn't know any of this. I had to ask.
That's good.
We usually get these after they're done cutting.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think there's a reason for that.
Shut this guy down.
Because all you're allotted is 10 business days to review and comment on it. But most of the time,
interesting.
they're already done by now.
Yeah.
25 acres on Halfrey. Looks
So,
pretty.
we never seem to get involved in these cutting plans.
No, the state oversees it
he's done
anyways.
it himself.
So
Right.
when they say corduroying a road, I didn't understand what that meant.
I don't know.
Take all the brush and run it over.
Is that what it
That's how
means?
you corduroy a road.
Oh.
So when they go through a wet area, they just take all the brush, and they keep dragging it, they leave it there, and then they run over it with the skidder,
Right.
pack it into a,
And small trees and everything,
Yeah.
just like tree. That's what they did at our house.
And what do they call that?
corduroy. So when they corduroy a road so they can get in and out,
Oh, okay.
just a
An
fun fact,
educational
I
moment.
guess, yeah.
Everybody's learning tonight.
This one here that says Amber Lane, it looks like it's talking about Halfrey and
Did he
the
get
map and
his?
everything. It's like the same map, so I don't know. I understand that part, but
That's probably in the same area, no? Or is it the exact same map?
It's in
Exactly
between,
the same.
it's in between Amber and Nestlewood. That's where they're doing it. You know what a log cabin is over there?
Is it one piece they're cutting
Yeah, it's one piece.
and two owners?
Yeah,
Okay.
oh, is that what it is?
yeah.
Oh, because I'm not sure where Amber Lane is. I forget.
Amber Lane,
Yeah.
off of Halfrey.
Okay.
So
That
you-
little road.
it's in
Okay.
between the two cul-de-sacs.
I see.
In fact, they were talking, Chris was talking about coming in off of Andy's place
I see.
instead of, because he was gonna talk to them, because he said it would be so much easier. Instead of, because they gotta cut out a bank in order to get in there.
It looks like reasonably high land from this map. Okay. Yeah, I don't have any.
Okay.
All right, I think we're good. We'll put them back now. You gotta have this empty for the end of the meeting, remember?
All right, what else? We have a P&W Providence and Worcester Railroad operational plan.
Yes, they sent their yearly operational plan. They also sent it to the Board of Health and Select Board. The only thing I read this whole thing. Little light
Thank you.
reading. You're
Thank
welcome. The only thing I saw is they are spraying pesticides.
Yeah,
They are going after
probably herbicides, right?
herbicides. They're going to take out low-growing shrubs. That awful. It's not bamboo. I don't know what it's called, but it's this awful
No,
stuff.
Japanese knotweed.
Yeah, not we.
They're going after that with a vengeance. I'm sure that causes some issues on the railway when it starts to grow into the railway.
What is it, the sumac or?
No, it's
And then-
the,
Japanese knotweed. Like if you go down 68 out of town going towards Worcester,
Yeah.
and that bank on the hill right there is all Japanese knotweed.
people use
Looks like bamboo,
Yeah, people
grows
use
like
it
very-
as
very fast, and also
privacy back in
goes-
the day, and it's super invasive, right?
it goes out of the
You
roots, so
can't-
it's
Oh
You
yeah,
can't
once
kill
you
it.
get it,
Yeah.
once you get it,
really hard.
You're
You gotta
stuck
like
with it.
spray it
it's
on.
kind of like bittersweet.
Right.
Once you get that, you never get rid of it either.
It comes off the root system.
Yeah, it's like
spreads out.
it's like the sumac. I mean,
Yeah, it's
it's
on the
basically
same
the same
idea.
thing.
Yeah, sumac is a lot.
You can get
doesn't
rid of
spread
sumac a lot easier.
It doesn't
than you can
spread.
that stuff,
like,
though.
yeah.
Well,
They do it
sumac
any-
grows the roots, and
Right.
the trees sprout out of the
Yeah.
root.
They doing any cutting with the helicopter?
They
Yeah,
haven't said, but I kind of hope so because I would love
That's
for
kinda-
them
yeah.
to
That's
see
cool when
it.
they do it right up by my
So
house.
it's probably
Yeah,
not.
so
I get a good view of it.
Yeah.
I hope so because they would get to see it. They're going to stay 10 feet away from wetlands. That's all they're going to do is stay 10 feet from it.
They're gonna spray those fields over by the tracks.
Yeah,
Get rid of all that grass that's
they're
growing.
gonna
Yeah.
they're gonna poison everything for miles.
They've been doing that like for 100 years, since 1870, whatever. They started hosing the place down, creosote and everything.
That's why when you walk out your back door, you can see the railroad tracks down there at night.
But I'm sure it's a lot better now than it used to be.
Oh, yeah.
And they told us that in case of an emergency or a very bad spill, we will be the first to know.
Right.
I'm sure.
Yeah. Okay. Well, that's kind of
And then they gave you everything that they're using.
So we
Which
just give
I
them a
understood.
blanket approval, right? It's-
We basically
Right.
say thank you for giving us to us, and that's about it.
for the record.
Yeah.
Right. That's cool. All right. Very good.
Okay, matters not anticipated by chair. I gave you all the DEP updates, correct?
Yeah, I believe so.
Yeah. That's good. I have to digest that.
But we can schedule that for the next meeting. I just wanted to give it to you guys, and then if you read it tonight and say, hey, can you have them further explain why they're choosing to do this or whatever, I can get on the phone with them this week or next to ask questions.
So this is just a preliminary thing that they've sent out.
Yeah, this is what they're thinking about. And they kind of want our feedback, if anything. And the big thing that I noticed is to simplify the WPA applications. To simplify it, so it's not so much work on your clerk or the engineer fills them out, but sometimes the engineers don't fill them out. Sometimes it's a homeowner filling out those extensive forms that make not a lot of sense. So they're looking into simplifying all of that process. I know they do allow it to do it online now, which is nice, and then it just sends it to me when it's finished. And then also increasing application fees. And if
No,
that's the
that's a
case,
surprise.
and if that's the case, then I did a fee review with Nate about all of the fees that the Conservation Commission charges versus what other towns charge versus what we probably should charge. So that is in the works. So if they're increasing their fees, maybe that's a hats off to us to do the same.
So I'll probably buck that a little bit. I think what we should charge is exactly what it costs us to do.
Correct.
So
Correct.
a lot of the fees get increased just because they can. And then on the other end, we have to pay all those fees.
Right.
So it's,
When Nate and I come to a consensus, when we go to every board and say, this is what you charge, this is what other towns charge, what would you like to do? That will be an open discussion with the town administrator to make sure that he feels that you guys are covered.
I'd just like to know, what we charged in the past and what the new is proposed.
I would like to see the numbers as well of what if they say increase, like how much are we talking about for increasing? Is it gonna be $100 more? Because some of them are already pretty steep and we get half of what they're paying to the state. So, we don't wanna,
That's mine.
That's,
Yeah. You probably already have yours in your pocket.
we don't wanna
Yeah,
bankrupt
see?
our
I know.
applicants.
It looks the same, huh?
not double.
The only difference is yours has got a red button.
Wow.
Okay. Any other comments or questions? I was asked if I wanted to continue working in the Conservation Commission, and I said no. I declined. This is the third 3-year term. That's 9 years. So I'm quitting.
No, sir.
No, not allowed to quit.
Come on, 9 years?
9 years already.
That's scary.
It is scary, all right.
Don't stop doing the math.
How long have I been around?
It was 9 years. How could it be 9 years
It
anyway?
can't be 9 years.
Steve Mossy and Larry Therian and everyone was on here.
Yeah. Mike Stevens.
Well, I know.
You went
about
with
that.
So if it was a full year, a full term before that, then
12 for you? Is that
I
right?
thought it was a lot when I was on Board of Health for 10. 10 flags.
I mean, I like doing it, but whatever.
Come on. Stay on. You do such a good job.
Oh, yes.
Come on.
Sure.
The town needs you.
Oh, I do it. A lot of thanks you get at times.
Come on, we have fun.
Several times this week, my phone has been held out to hear as I get shouted at by residents.
No
and I'm
kidding.
like, this is not my
Most of the time, they're very
purview.
civil. The residents are very civil, like 95% of the time. Would you
Actually,
say?
the contractors.
Yeah, I would say most of the time they're very good.
So I definitely see a decline in the community, not just Hubbardston, but everywhere. You
Of
can see-
interest.
The idea of community, man.
Yes.
Yeah.
And how upset people are at everything today. So, part of that, obviously, people are at wit's end. And so, what do they say? MIT said to raise a family of 4
In Massachusetts.
in Massachusetts comfortably, you need $301,000 of income.
That's ludicrous.
Obviously, they didn't pick Hubbardston to do this stuff.
And obviously, they didn't get a good look at my grocery bill.
So they did compare us to California, and we passed California as being more expensive.
It's ridiculous.
At least they get nice weather.
No, they say a lot of the high-income people are moving out of Massachusetts
Yeah. Yeah.
for a number of different reasons.
Well, now they found out through the pandemic, if you're going to work from home, your address doesn't matter.
Correct. I've got friends that are employed here in Massachusetts, but they actually reside in Florida, Miami area.
Yeah.
They move south because their dollar can stretch
Yeah.
that much further.
I don't know how anybody buys a home today.
Yeah.
I mean, I got 2 houses on my street that there's like 7 cars in the yard. And it's got to be 2 or 3 families
Yeah.
that are living in one house. Well, I mean, they probably just can't afford to,
So
what
most
else?
the houses that we sell, I asked the realtor, what are the people making ballpark? So typically, one person is making 200,000, and then the other's a little bit behind that.
My daughter is the town clerk now, Melody,
Yes.
but
We're having a grand old time.
she's a good old girl.
He's a town clerk here in town?
Yeah.
Very good.
Mel. She's good. She'll be good. She's very people-oriented. But anyway, one of her customers, she worked at a daycare center, 123 Grow. They spent $400,000 on childcare. They had like 3 kids. They spent $400,000 on childcare. It's like something is wrong. That's more money than the person probably made or as much as she made, she just gave it to childcare. Wouldn't it be better to stay home and raise the
That's-
kids?
I never made that kind of money in my life, 400,000.
Well, it
what
was
I
over a
did.
period of years.
I've
but
had some $200,000 years,
I think
but
David
not
said,
400.
I think David said with the 2 kids, he was spending 60 grand a year.
So it starts to add up.
And that
you
was
know.
a 1, 2, 3 grow.
Yep.
Anyway,
But I mean, both him and his wife both make really good money, so, but.
Yeah, it's a trade-off.
Yeah,
But you have to, and it has to be husband and wife that
Right.
have
Yeah.
to do it.
not like the old days.
No, not like the old mama don't stay home and do the cooking and take care of the kids.
Which is
Oh, yeah.
This is new. This full time.
Nothing
I've been a stay-at-home mom for 8 years before I came to town, and it was because I was working full time and I wasn't making enough to pay for childcare. And I was like, well, this is
So now a little help
stupid.
helps.
So I decided to stay home, and then now they're all in school, so
So you
you
can
know,
work.
so I can work.
And it helps. The extra income certainly helps.
Yeah. My husband knows that most of my paycheck is going to a secret
Well.
Disney account. Like, he's not fooled. He's like, is that for chickens and other things, or is that for Disney? And I was like, wherever the wind takes me.
that's funny.
All right. Anything else?
I make a motion, we adjourn.
I'll second it.
All in favor? Aye.